I'm Risa McCann.
I'm Kelly Wilson, and we're with My Favorite Quilt Store.
And we have a treat for you today.
Yes. So my favorite teacher from high school is actually teaching you all today how to make these set of 3 rope bowls. So she's going to go with the step-by-step process on how this works.
Absolutely.
And we're going to unbox as well.
Oh, it's always fun.
All right, so first of all, everything that you need in this kit, minus the thread, is included in here, including your needle.
That's the thing that I was most impressed with, Kelly, when I opened the box and I saw the needle, because you need a very strong needle. Traditionally, I use a denim needle when I'm making rope bowls.
But this
was
perfect.
an added bonus and a treat. Yes, thank you. I've already installed it in my machine, so we're good to go with the needle.
Awesome. And then happy stitching, you hear? That's what the box says.
Because it's a North Carolina-based company.
There you go.
Yeah, here.
Here.
Okay. This is like 15 yards or some incredible length of rope. It says that we need to cut this into 3 equal lengths because we're making 3 bowls.
Yes.
So Kelly, let's get cutting.
Yes, and if we're doing, if it's 15 yards, then we'll just need 5 yards of each.
Oh my God,
math.
Did I teach you math?
She taught me math. No.
How fun, how fun. Okay, let's cut.
Yeah, and then also while she's getting that all unwrapped, what's cool is all of the instructions that you do need to make these bowls are included, which is really nice. And it tells you how to do it with different fabrics, how to add, fabric in to just make that extra. Every bowl is unique.
Absolutely. This is something I have done before as a craft with friends.
Okay.
We spent an afternoon. But I tell you what, when I open this box with you and I see all of the specific directions in large enough print that I can read it and simple directions that I can understand and follow, I am literally blown out of the water.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased.
They really went above and beyond on this product. I mean, it tells you exactly what to do, and there's reference images for every single piece you can go through.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it even shows you how to finish it all off. All right, so let's get started.
Great. All right, so I am back. As you can tell, we measured 3 equal lengths. I have 1 length right here. To get started making the bowl, basically this frayed edge is not a problem because you're going to tuck it very tightly in a coil. Remember when you were a kid and you played Play-Doh, and one of the first things you learned to do playing Play-Doh was make a snake? And from that snake, you made a little coil, and it turned into a basket eventually. What you can see that I've done is just that. Visualize this as the Play-Doh. To get started, you set a pin through the rope, pushing it gently, gently, gently all the way through to the other side. There we go. So if I consider this my west or your east, I'm going to set one north to south. Ouch. And then I'll set one going this way. All right, so basically I've established my coil and I've got my pins to hold it in place. It's really important when you start stitching that you start by using a Q shape. If you look at the rope and the coil, this is a Q. I want to put this down under my presser foot so that I am still seeing the Q. In other words, I want to make my rope from the right side, make my basket from the right side. It's gonna grow out of the left side. If you, for some strange reason, find yourself doing it backwards, stop if you can and flip it so that you're always feeding from the right side. So let's get started and take a few stitches to anchor, and then I'll be able to take my pins out. Depending upon who you watch videos or how you read, what instructions you have, there's 2 basic methods. The first would be a straight stitch, making crosshairs. Another one would be going to zigzag stitch across, so that either way is fine. You just want to secure this base. Let me make sure that I'm touching both sides by setting my zigzag at the highest. And then I'll go ahead and put it a little bit longer. Drop that down. And I'm going to stitch very carefully because I have left the pins in and I don't want to hit a pin while I'm stitching. So my first few are going to be very, very slow. Let me pull this out, cut this, and now I'm going to come in from the other direction. As I'm stitching again, I'm careful with the pins. Okay, take this out. Remember, this is the very center of the base of the bowl. So it's not really going to show that much how many times I go back and forth, but I want this to be secure, so I'm going to do it several times from several different directions. I think I'll set it one more time going this way. What's fun about making these bowls is you can use this colored thread, this 100% cotton thread, and change your thread colors. I've even tried it using a variegated thread so that the thread color changes automatically as I stitch. Okay, so now you can see I can go back and trim all these little things later, or I can do it right now. This is secure. So as I start to build my bowl, remember, I'm using the Q. Let's go back a little bit more. It's looking like a Q, and I want to make sure that as I stitch, I am feeding in the rope. It's not a speed contest. It's not something that I need to go zippity-doo-dah fast and finish. Speed kills. Speed will make you have to stop and take it apart again. So just be slow with it, work with yourself, and you'll gain speed as you gain confidence. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just stitching along and making it coil. These baskets are great for countertops in the kitchen, to put fruit, to put various things that you need baskets for in your kitchen. I am expecting a new granddaughter. Uh-oh. Yep, time to stop and rethread. My thread broke. I was going to say I'm expecting a new granddaughter, and I'm thinking about making one of these for her nursery to hold blankets and toys and all the things that new babies need. So they can be created for girls, for boys' rooms, books, classrooms. That's a whole nother use, classrooms. They're fun to make. Once you get the hang of it, you'll find that you're making them for gifts for lots of different people, lots of different reasons. Okay, let me get this threaded. Do you ever wonder how they put the eye in the needle? Such a tiny hole. I often think about stuff like that. Okay, back in business. Here we go. Again, all I'm doing is feeding it, holding it, making my Q look bigger and bigger and bigger. And as you can hear, my machine has picked up a little bit of speed because I'm not working with that small beginning coil. Cool thing about using the beige thread while you make your first basket, the mistakes won't show as much. Not that it's hard to make a mistake when you're doing these, but I suggest you use a colored thread as your second basket once you've gotten the confidence of making the first one. bit of speed, keeping my eye on the needle, keeping my hands pretty much in the same position, using my left hand to just move this around. Now let me stop and check how much I have left. Let me take my fun necklace off. That was fun to do for you guys. Hopefully you got a giggle. Got about this much left, so I'm gonna keep going. When it comes time to build the walls of your basket, what you will do is slowly bring this up, and as you're stitching, as you bring it up, it will begin to slant upward to make a basket. You'll see. So we're gonna stitch a little bit more, and then watch as I lift. All I've done is lift just a small amount. Just keep it going. Like I said, as you lift, the angle develops, and try and keep it in the same position. Oh, and let's talk about something that I see. Hold on. I don't know if you can see, but right there, I missed a couple of stitches. So what I'll do is go back really quickly. Again, this is why you make your first one with the tan thread on the tan rope, so that little problems like this won't be as visible. Think about if I'd used a red thread on this, it would be much harder, much more difficult to go in and do the repair. So I just found the hole, going back with my zigzag till I think it's complete. Problem fixed. Okay? So, back to holding it up. And now I'm rotating it. Okay, as I near the end of the bowl, I've clearly marked out what I want to use. I'm gonna make a hanging loop for this bowl. So I've made the loop size that I want. It will be positioned right here on the bowl, okay? So I will do the remaining stitches of the bowl, and look at how nice and flat that's sitting. I think it's very nice. Let me come back over here. Back ready to go, holding this loop in place, make my last few stitches. This hadn't taken very long at all, and it's been a lot of fun to make. Okay, at this point, I want to hold, let's see, let's get it up so you can see. This is the coil that I want to have as my loop. I can do it one of many ways. I could actually coil it like that and make a double. I could just coil it as a single. I could make it as a loop like this. In fact, I think that looks nice. Let's do that. So I've created my loop. Go very slow as I stitch this because I'm asking a lot of the machine to get through many, many layers. Okay, I've actually stitched the coil or the loop itself. Do a reverse stitch real quick to secure my thread. Pull it out. Trim. I can go back and trim anytime. But see, I've made this nice little loop. Now I want to make sure that that's secure to the bowl. This end, I can actually stitch down, and that's what I will do to make sure that it's secure and that it doesn't fray. And then we'll have a nice little hanging loop. But these threads bother me sometimes. I have to go back and trim them to make it look nice while I'm stitching. All right, coming back under, attaching the loop that I've just made to the bowl. Again, stitching very slowly because I'm asking a lot of the machine. While we're asking that much, why don't we just go ahead and ask her to go backwards over what we just did for security reasons. She's very obliging. There we go. Coming to the end, I've kind of tucked it down inside the bowl. All the little frayed edge is down there. And we will cover it. And you know what? We'll go back over it with a back stitch. And let's try it again with a forward stitch. Holding that fray, I'll use a pin to hold it in place. There we go. Nice and tidy. Taking it out. I will trim just a little bit of the fray that is exposed. Of course, trimming my threads. And as you can see, it's a nice little hanging basket or a one loop basket. I think in the next video, we'll show you how to wrap the rope so that you can get colors throughout the basket. Thank you so much for joining today. And remember, this is the DIY basket kit from Mountain Thread Company, available at myfavoritequiltstore.com. Thank you. All right, it's time to take the basket out. As you can see, we've made a beautiful basket. What I chose to do with this basket was part of the way through, change my bobbin so that it is a white bobbin. So it looks as though I'm trimming a thread while I'm talking. There's a stripe along the basket. I love how the variegated thread pops it. And making the hoop, I've matched the two baskets. I can shape this hoop. Remember, one of the things that you can do is spray the basket with water, mist it with water, and then you'll be able to shape it more to whatever shape you desire. And then as it dries, it will maintain that shape. That's the beauty of stitching 100% cotton. So I've wrapped enough fabric around that I can get the base of the bowl started, the coil. I've pinned it in place with a straight pin. Now, I want to tightly coil just like if we were making a bowl out of Play-Doh. I'm sure you remember making Play-Doh bowls. You roll it out snake-like, and then you coil it really tightly into place and build up the sides. Well, that's basically what we're doing. So I've got it tight. Take a pin. This is where I always stick myself, so I have to be careful. force the pin down through all the coils, coming out the other side. Go just a little bit more. North, south, east, and west. So I went east and west. Now I'm going north and south with this. There it goes. Didn't get myself this time. Going under the sewing machine. Ouch. There, I got myself. There's at least one time that I get myself when I'm doing this. All right, so I'm going to use a side-to-side zigzag stitch. And as I do so, I'm going to stitch north to south, east to west. There we go. So I can pull it out now. That was my north-south. I will clip. Pull a pin. Pull this pin. And then I will do the other direction, the second direction. Going across. And pull it out again. So at this point, I can trim all those threads from all that little north-south stitching, make them go away, make my bowl look nice and tidy. It's very important that you remember when you're doing this, as you sew, you want to have the letter P, not Q. In other words, you want to build your bowl from the right, not the left. This is the letter P. Let me pull this out. That's what that is. And Q. Actually, I said that wrong. You want to have the Q, not the letter P. Sorry about that. Maybe we can edit out my mistake. Again, I'm going to wrap it just like an ace bandage. That's what I decided was a good analogy. Leaving about a 1/2 inch on each wrap. Pulling it taut. Once I get enough wrapped, I can go back under the sewing machine and stitch some more. Yes, it is a Q because I want to feed from the right. Sorry about that. I'm using a wide zigzag stitch and I'm rotating with my fingers the coil so that the zig catches on one side and the zag catches on the other. It goes back and forth, zigzag, catching both ropes. Okay, so let me do some sewing.
Perfect.
Okay.
Got
As you can see, I'm nearing the end of the rope bowl. I've covered the base with the fabric and I've gone with the naked thread up top, but I'm using an accent black thread. So I'm carrying the color from the bottom up through the top. I've created my loop. I'm holding it in my hand down here. That will be my finishing point. So let's take those last few stitches together. I've still got the loop in my hand, and I'm going to bring that raw edge around, bringing the loop there. There we go. Working that this way, bringing it back. It takes just a little bit of a push sometimes with your machine. I want to take this raw edge and work it up into the bowl so that it's on the inside. I can go back and trim any errant fibers, but at least I know the majority, the bulk, is inside the bowl. Okay. Work that with my fingers, and it's in place. Great. Let's make a few stitches over it. This is where you use your back stitch. And forward again, just to hold that edge in place. I can trim those up. I still have a small hole, but that's not a worry. I'm going to go back under and connect that. Again, these are Mountain Thread Company out of North Carolina, sold from My Favorite Quilt Store, and it's the kit. Let me cut that for you. I will take time, go back and finish all of my little threads, cutting them off. But as you can see, it's very cute.